But basically, if your goal is to maintain your body weight or lose body fat,
Right.
you want to stay away from spiking your blood sugar.
Hi guys, Reza Kazimpour with Six Ring, and I'm here with.
Ellie Mascara at Elevate Wellness.
I'm so excited. Today we're talking about something that literally hits, I think, all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And Ellie and I were talking about this, like, what's one of the main subjects? And it's blood sugar spikes.
Yes.
Like, literally, I go through it myself daily with everything I do. But Ellie, maybe you want to kick it off with what are some of the things that are important to you, at least from a female perspective?
Yes. So blood sugar spikes are basically caused by what we eat, and it can also be caused by stress. Number one offender when it comes to blood sugar spikes is sugar and carbohydrates,
Right.
because when we consume carbohydrates, it actually turns into sugar in our body. And so they're basically two of the same. Um, and so a lot of people ask me, why do I need to care about my blood sugar? And the reason why you need to care about it is because when you have something in your food that is high in carbs and sugar, or one of the two, what happens is your blood sugar, which is also called glucose,
Right.
spikes. And so, what your body does to compensate is it basically creates a hormone called insulin. And insulin's job is to basically take the blood sugar that's excess in your blood, and it goes and stores it in your muscles
Mm-hmm.
first. But then at a certain point, your muscles max out. And so they stop taking the excess blood sugar. And so then what insulin does is it takes it and basically stores it as fat
Right.
in your body. And that's when you get excess belly fat,
That's what I was gonna say. That's where you start seeing all this belly fat start
that
to
and
accumulate.
it's different for every person. People have different areas their body stores fat, but for the
Yeah,
most part, most people get excess belly fat storage in their midsection and their sides and their thighs. Some people get it in their arms. It
yeah,
depends on your body type. But basically, if your goal is to maintain your body weight or lose body fat,
right.
you want to stay away from spiking your blood sugar.
That's a great point because, like, again, body. There's so many different body types. Mine is always like I noticed that when I turned 40. I'm 57 now, but when I turned 40,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed different things I eat. And again, you're. It's difficult to figure out like what's healthy and what's not. Like, right? We
Mm-hmm.
talked about this because you see based on you speak to coaches, you see what's on TV. You go to your gym and the coach, who your trainer tells you what to eat.
Mm-hmm.
But no one really knows what's really healthy, whether it be in your granola, your bar, even in your acai bowl that you get from outside.
Yeah.
Like, what's really the main thing you should look for to know like this is healthy for me and this isn't, like,
Yeah.
because you're not sitting there measuring out how many grams of protein, how many grams of sugar are in each one of these things, right? You hope you can, but really you can't. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so different from for everybody, right? My
Yes.
body's gonna take my intake's gonna be much different than your body, right?
Yes.
Especially as a man and a woman, it's gonna be completely two different things,
Mm-hmm.
and how we store that body, how we store that fat. But
Mm-hmm.
what's your biggest recommendation? I think for people if they are out, if they are doing these things, like what should they look for?
Yes. Listen, I understand that the whole health food market and just the food recommendation is just very oversaturated with different recommendations. It feels like every day one thing is healthy and the next day it becomes a problem food and something to stay away from. And so it's very frustrating from a consumer standpoint, both men and women, what to do. A lot of the times they're just confused about what's healthy and what's really
Right,
not.
right,
And so I like to simplify it for my clients. What I always recommend is look at the macronutrition that's in your food. It's the carbs, sugar, fiber
mm-hmm.
in your food. And the protein, that's another big macro. So when you're eating something, look at it and say, okay, how much, what's the percentage of carbohydrate it has? What's the percentage of protein versus sugar versus fiber? And so there's a lot of popular foods that people think it's healthy. that is really wrecking their
Right, right.
metabolism. Some of those examples, as you said, are acai bowls. The acai bowls that you get outside in like regular health food markets or restaurants,
Yeah.
um, yes, there is a lot of benefit when it comes to like, yes, they're full of vitamins and polyphenols, which are great antioxidants
Mm-hmm.
for your body, but they also have a lot of carbohydrate and a lot of sugar.
Right.
A lot of these acai bowls, for example, have added sugar on top of the fruit sugar that's in there.
Exactly.
That is really increasing the sugar content in that bowl. And while I can't call it unhealthy, it is not going to benefit you when it comes to your blood sugar
Right.
management, and if your goal is to lower body fat or maintain your weight, it's not going to work to your advantage. Another one is granola bars. A lot of people think, oh,
Yeah.
granola bars are good for you because they have oats in them or oatmeal in the morning. And it's most 9 out of 10 times, both granola and oatmeal are just very high in carbohydrates, and they are lacking a lot of key nutrition
Right.
like protein, like higher amounts of fiber. And you can add healthier fats to them, but it has to be in the healthy fat category.
Right.
And so it becomes complicated. And so those are the things I would say that are the two biggest offenders.
Okay.
Another thing is eating sugary drinks. It could be sodas, it could be energy
Right.
drinks.
Right.
Those are full of sugar or even artificial sweeteners, which also spike your blood sugar. People think, oh, it's because it's sugar free, it's okay to have. And
Yeah.
a lot of times, taking the actual sugar is healthier than eating the artificial
Mm-hmm.
sweeteners because they're chemical um, products that are in your food, and your body doesn't know what to do with it.
Right.
But when you eat something that's very high in chemical content that is not real food, your body doesn't know what to do with it, so it stores it as fat. So
Exactly.
but your body knows better what to do with that sugar than it does with that artificial substance that you're giving it. And so
Yeah. So
those are the
I'll break
biggest
it
ones.
down into two areas. We as human beings, we love simplicity, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go out, we eat things, we want simplicity. So there's not really a cheat sheet that we can carry around with us. It's like going to a physician. The physician tells you, like, here are your biomarkers, like here's your efficiencies, and you're going to remember maybe 2% of that, right? Things
Mm-hmm.
you want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like when we do go out, let's say you go to a healthy place and you want to get like an acai bowl of some sort. First thing you do is you look on the top and it says, like 80 grams, 60 grams. You're like, okay, well, that's healthy. You don't really think about all the other things you put on there that's adding to that, because all that 60 grams is really for is like the base, right?
Right.
Not everything else. But I think we as humans, we fool ourselves in wanting to believe like that's a healthy version. Just like you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned with the energy drinks, right? I'm guilty of that myself because I might have like maybe one a day sometimes, right? Whether it's a Celsius or a Red Bull. And I
Mm-hmm.
try to do the sugar free Red Bull if I do, but we need that spike. We need that boost of energy sometimes throughout the day,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be a bar or a drink or something to just get us through the day. Like, especially like I get up super early. And yeah, I need some kind of spike to get me going. Otherwise, I'm just like normal, like literally like
Yeah.
pass out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, we're not really thinking about the granularity of what's really in these things, right? The sugar
Mm-hmm.
that's going to affect you. And it doesn't matter how much you work out, it doesn't matter what you do, those things are going to affect your body.
Yes.
And again, even with the different body types, like you still you see the differences as it starts to accumulate the fat in your body, right?
Yes.
Um, so that's really the biggest thing. My question to you is there a few things people should think about when they are going out? Home is easy, right? Home, you can have the cheat sheet. You're like, okay, I'm gonna buy this, do this, and this. But when you're out, which most of us are, like
Mm-hmm.
we live very active lives. What's the cheat sheet? What's the simple thing people can remember? Maybe like two, three things as they hear this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, okay, I can remember that. That's not that hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you recommend? Like, what would that be for you?
Sure. So what I would recommend, especially because my biggest clientele are busy working professionals and especially women, those tools come really in handy. So I always tell my clients, uh, eat your protein first. So no matter where you are, if you're ordering out, if you're going to a cafe or a restaurant, make sure your food is number one full of protein. You want at least 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal, depending on your goals. It could be higher for men, but
But
I
how
would,
do you figure out the 30 to 40? Like if you were to look at
yeah.
a, let's say if you look at a salad,
Hmm.
how many pieces of meat or chicken or eggs, like how do you say, okay, this is 30 to 40 grams?
So I would always say palm size.
Okay.
You always have your hands with you, and so I always like to use the palm of my hand. So the palm of a woman's hand is about 4 ounces, and some men, it could be different. But I always say make sure you at least have a palm size
Okay.
worth of protein in your meal, at
Okay.
least.
Okay.
And it could be a palm and a half if your protein goals are
That's easy enough.
higher.
Yeah.
And so just use your hands as a measuring tool. If it's a protein powder that you're using, I would say you can ask, where you are, how many grams of protein is in
Mm-hmm.
each scoop. I usually do most protein powders, each scoop is about 20 to 25 grams
Okay.
of protein minus 25. And so I do 2 scoops, and that gives me 50 grams of protein. So either use your hand as a measuring tool for your protein,
Or a scooper of some sort,
or
depending on what
ask,
you're doing.
the store that you're purchasing from how many grams of protein is in each scoop, and then you can decide how many scoops you want to
Now, I've
take.
heard some people, again, maybe when they're weight training, but go as high as 1,700 grams of protein. Like that sounds really high to me.
Yes.
What is like in your mind, because you coach a lot of people, like
Mm-hmm.
what's kind of the average intake of protein they should be having at the very minimum?
Yeah.
What is
So the
that?
dietary guidelines say zero point 0.8 grams of protein per ideal body weight.
Okay.
That is the bare minimum you need to survive,
Okay.
to be in good health. Now, if you are doing weight training or any resistant training exercises, and that could be vinyasa flow yoga, it
Right.
could be weight training, it could be even body weight
Sure.
training. As long as you're giving resistance, it could be training with resistant bands. Um, then it's best to up to 1 grams of protein per ideal body weight. So let's say if I'm 135 pounds and my goal is to be 120 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
I would do 1 gram of protein per ideal body weight, which
Okay.
is 120 for me.
Okay.
And so that would be 120 grams of protein per day
Yeah.
for me in order to be able to meet my goals. And the reason why I do that is because I also continuously do weight training at least three
Got
times
it.
a
Got it.
week. And so that would be my goal. But I would say zero point 0.8 grams per ideal body weight at the bare minimum.
So like I know someone like myself, I run 10 miles every day. That's like
Mm-hmm.
um I burn probably about 1,000. I mean, according to my Apple Watch, I don't have it on today, but normally it's about I probably burn about 1,000 to 1,200 calories based on my watch a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's like 20,000 steps.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of cardio throughout the day. So I myself, like I said, I do cheat. I do have the Red Bulls because I need that spike. So from a protein, your recommendation would be the same for me as well because my cardio is going to be a lot higher than someone weight training, right?
Yes.
Um,
So are you also implementing any weight training in your routine
yeah, I'll do like 2 hours of running and I'll do an hour of workout as well
every day?
every day.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So I would say for somebody like you, I would do as high as even 2 grams of protein per
Okay.
pound of body weight, because a person like you who is very active and who's very busy and constantly in meetings, going in and out, the reason why your body is asking for more caffeine and energy drinks is
Mm-hmm.
because your blood sugar is out of balance.
It is.
So what happens is you can spike your blood sugar really high, and then after a very uphill battle, there's always a very sharp low hill
Yes.
downfall,
Yeah.
right? And so you are slowly crashing or quickly crashing, depending on how much you spike your blood sugar. And so at the end of that spike, your body's signaling you, it's getting, my blood sugar is too low, my blood sugar is too low. We need to have the next spike. And that's when it triggers you to go grab for the next cup of coffee or the next cup of energy drink that you're
Exactly.
consuming. And so what I always recommend for people like you who are super busy and going in and out of meetings, planning is going to be your best friend. So you have to make sure, first of all, that you start your meal, your day with a very high protein meal. So for somebody like you, I would say at least 60 grams at the very minimum, because you have a
Before as a
higher.
before or after a workout, what do you
You could
recommend?
you could choose
Okay.
as a man, you can
Yeah.
do it after your cardio workout, but definitely before your weight
Okay.
training, I would say, because you need to have fuel to be able to push yourself. But for women, I would say you have to start your day with that high protein. Otherwise, your cortisol is going to really be high,
Right.
and it's not going to help your weight loss journey or your body composition change journey if you are working out an elevated cortisol. And so for men, it's different than women, but you can choose. You can also pay attention to your body. If you feel super hungry when you wake up,
Right.
that is your signal to eat before you work out. If you feel like it's going to be too heavy for you to do your long run
Mm-hmm.
and on a fuller stomach, then I would say get a quick snack like you
Right.
told me before. Like you said, you have a banana and like some water with salt,
Exactly. Yeah.
and that kind of is enough fuel for you to get started. But I would say after you come back from your run, before you go your weight training,
Mm-hmm.
definitely eat your food. Wait at least an hour to an hour and a half for the food to be a little digested before
Yeah.
you actually have your workout. So the number one food I would say make sure you add to your meal is healthy fats.
Okay.
Those are most nuts and seeds that are dry roasted or raw. It could be things like avocado, olive oil. Those are all
I
considered.
have avocado almost every day. I love it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so make sure in every meal that you have some sort of a healthy fat. It does not have to be a large amount. It could be like a tablespoon
Right.
of nut butter, or it could be maybe a teaspoon of any nut, like you like walnuts or
Mm-hmm.
pistachios. Or it could be a half to a quarter avocado, depending on, if you're a guy or a woman, and depending on your weight loss goals. So make sure you have healthy fat, and then make sure you have a good amount of fiber. Anything that's green is very high in
Yeah.
fiber content.
I
So
have
I
a lot
would
of
say
cucumber.
I
In
love that. So
Persian with cucumber,
I
it's
know.
like I that
So
all day long.
cucumbers are great. Any veggies are
Yeah.
considered high in fiber. Of course, low starch veggies. So like
Right.
potatoes of, the potato family, for example,
Sure.
or bananas. Those are, those don't qualify as a fiber food.
Right.
And so anything green, I would say, would be qualified
Okay.
as a fiber. Another great way to add fiber to your food is flaxseed or chia seeds.
Okay.
So you could do like a protein flaxseed or chia seed pudding
I love
overnight,
chia. Yeah, I do a lot
um,
of chia also.
and add your favorite nut milk, and that's clean, and leave it overnight. And in the morning, you just top it with some fruit, and you're ready to go.
So I snack on those things all day long because I work either out of my house or I go downstairs by the pool. So I always have snacks.
Hmm.
I think my problem specifically, and maybe for everybody else, is as well as if you have cookies or something else there, you again, as a human being, you're just going to tend to grab that to get
Hmm.
that sugar spike,
Hmm.
right? Versus get eating something healthy.
Hmm.
So sometimes I try to hide those things or attempt not to buy them.
Hmm.
But what I would love to know is maybe from our audience, like what are some of the things they do, and then come back and get feedback, and as well as like the things like our recommendations on the things like even the bars and the foods that you recommend. Maybe we can
Hmm.
put that into the header.
Hmm.
People can see maybe where you buy your things from,
Hmm.
and who they are and how that helps you out. And I think it would be nice to collaborate with our audience to see exactly like what are some of the issues they're having and how do they
Hmm.
measure, right? Because that's my biggest thing. Like that, I love the palm thing. Like that's
Yes.
easy.
Hmm.
And like I said, I think as human beings, we need simplicity. We don't want to think too much. You just want to kind of just go do it.
Hmm.
And I think if we can bring that to the table and help people with the basics they need to at least stay healthy from a platform perspective, that's amazing,
Yeah.
right?
So I would say that when you are making your food choices, make sure that you stay away from ultra processed foods. And ultra processed foods are anything that's made in a factory. So chips and things of that sort, snack items that are highly processed. If God didn't create it that way, if it didn't come out of earth or
Right.
from an animal, I would say stay away from those,
Okay.
and stop buying them. So the first thing I do with my clients is clear out their pantry. I go over, I look at their pantry, I get rid of everything that's ultra processed
Mm-hmm.
or has, you know, kind of risky ingredients, and we get rid of all of those. And then we go to a health food store like Whole Foods or Sprouts, and I show them how to choose healthier snack options,
Okay.
even if they want to do ultra processed foods, like for their kids, for example, what to look for, how to read labels, so that you can minimize the impact to your health and to your body. And so I always say that. And, when you're making your plate, even if you're out and ordering or if
Right.
you're making it at home, it doesn't matter. Make sure that there's real food on your plate. If you want carbohydrates, that's fine. I'm again not against carbohydrates. It's just where it comes from, how it's made is very important. If you wanna in your healthy plate that's high in protein and fiber and healthy fat, you can't have a side of
Right.
fruit that's low glycemic, and what that means is it's not gonna spike your blood sugar as much. It has a lower sugar content. So I would say all kinds of berries qualify. Kiwi family
Sure.
qualifies. Um, most things except for tropical fruits
Mm-hmm.
like bananas and pineapple and mangoes. And again, those you can have in moderation too. They're
Right.
just going to
Right.
be higher in the sugar content. And so you have to make sure you have them at the end of your meal, where you have your protein, fat, and fiber first. And what that does is that kind of acts as a filter so that the blood sugar doesn't spike as quickly as if it would if you had it on an empty stomach.
Right.
Another thing I've noticed a lot of my clients do is they have their high carb or high sugar snacks or food on an empty stomach.
Mm-hmm.
That is a recipe for a very high blood sugar spike in your body, because
Right.
what that does is when you eat it, it becomes readily available to your blood sugar. Your blood sugar has a really severe spike, and then you're going to have a really
Right.
severe crash, and then you're going to have cravings for more sweets or for more carbohydrate style foods. And so I would say don't have high carb or high sugar foods on an empty stomach. And the final tip I would say is if you have a high carbohydrate or sugar meal, uh, about 10 minutes after,
Right.
I would go for a 10 to 15-minute walk. It doesn't have to be running, it doesn't have to be
Sure.
extreme, but that's another way of really lowering your blood sugars. What that does is your muscles are working, and so
Right.
they have a higher capability to take that glucose
Exactly.
out of your blood sugar, out of your bloodstream, and utilize it. And so what that does is it lowers your blood sugar at a more steady rate as
Okay.
opposed to like a sudden drop.
Awesome. I feel like we can talk about blood sugar like all day long. What I'd love to hear back is literally from you guys, like what are some of the things you do, like we talked about, and how is it affecting your life? Like what's the habits, daily habits you have? And then maybe we can come back and touch on this maybe in our next episode a little bit too, because I'd love to get the feedback from our audience and see what they're doing and how we can kind of bridge that and help them out. And then, like I said, also talk about some of the maybe the products or the services that we use or how people are utilizing your services, right? How
Yes.
you're going and helping them out with these things.
Mm-hmm.
There might be some people that want to utilize that as well. But I think from software to the foods, to all these things that we're utilizing for ourselves and how it's helping us, like even like I said, with my age and everything I'm doing, like how is it keeping me physically and mentally aware and happy, like at the end of the day? Because that's really what we want.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been awesome. I think this is one of my favorite episodes, is talking about this stuff. And is there anything else you want to add before we sign off?
I think that's it. I think it's a great idea to have another episode to talk about the examples of foods that people can use to make their, plate no matter where
Yeah,
they are, and also some protein shakes and some bars that are LE approved
there you go.
that you can use on the go so that you don't have that sudden drop in your blood sugar that's gonna make you crave,
Yes,
um, uh, you know, um, ultra processed foods or coffee or energy
right,
drinks.
right. Awesome. Well,
Yeah,
thanks, Ellie. This has
yeah,
been great.
my
Thanks,
pleasure.
guys. Looking forward to hearing back, getting some feedback from you guys, and then we will continue this next time.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.